what's up, guys? Welcome to WUDG, Underground Columbus, home of the unsigned artists. You're listening to the Zane and Carly Project. I am Zane Richard Simpson.
And I'm Carly J.
So, today we'll be talking to DJ Leek, right here out of Columbus, Ohio. We'll be talking to him about a few different things. Let me first cut to our sponsors, my company, ZRS Productions, Kutcht, Carly's company. Our major number one sponsor right now, Anchor, the Anchor app or Anchor.fm. Make sure you guys check it out. If you're looking to do a podcast or radio show, it's the number one place to do it. You can download, edit, and do everything right from your phone with no minimum listenership, and you can make money. So make sure you guys check that out. If you guys want to watch us live, remember you guys can check us out on WUDG Columbus Radio on Facebook, or you can check us out on the Zane and Carly Project on Instagram, and right now on DJ Leek's
That's right.
live as well. That's all the place you can find it live. And after the fact, if you guys happen to miss out, make sure you guys check us out on Spotify, Anchor, or any of the other major streaming apps for podcasts or radio shows. So, like I said, we got DJ Leek in here today, and we're going to talk a little bit with him about what he's got going on and everything like that. So, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We're going
Yeah,
doing well.
Doing well. Doing really good.
Considering.
Yeah, just hanging out, living life, being parents and entrepreneurs and all that good fun stuff.
Parent life. I'm not there yet.
Working on it?
Yeah.
Working on
Practicing.
it.
Practicing.
That's about it.
I feel it.
Necessary.
So, a little bit, I just want to start by asking you, I guess I already know who you are, and I've already introduced you a little bit, but who are you? What do you do? And, we'll start with that. Who are you and what do you do?
So, like you said, my name's Leek, DJ Leek, whatever you want to call me. Real name's Malik. I guess a lot of people don't know that. People are like, what's your real name? But, yeah, I'm from Medina, Ohio. So that's where I was born. And then for people that don't know, it's around the Cleveland area, about maybe 25, 30 minutes outside of Cleveland. Then I went to University of Toledo for a little bit, for a semester before I moved down to Columbus and running track at Ohio Dominican while, still kind of learn how to DJ. But, just been DJing for about the past, I want to say 8 or 9 years now.
Wow.
Nice. Closing in on a decade here soon. So kind of crazy to think. I think that's
Leek.
Yeah, I know, right? People think I'm like 30. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think I've been doing it that long. It's probably the only thing I've been that committed to in my life, so I must really love it. But yeah, just kind of, just been doing that. And then here recently in my life, I've been really big into mental health too. So that's been a big thing, just, kind of just music and mental. That's kind of what I've been focusing on. So
It's definitely necessary with all, everything going on, and especially just the age that we are in our generation. It's very important to focus on your mental health so you can grow and, be the better you. It's
for sure.
You're at a crossroads at this point in your life. You can go one way or the other. So mental health is very important.
Yeah, I totally agree. So you said you're originally from Medina.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure. We were talking about it last night, actually. I was like, yeah, we have a guest tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure where you were from.
Right.
I knew that you were in Arizona for a while. So did you move out to Arizona for a while and then come back, or how did that all?
So I went out there for an Ohio State football game for the Fiesta Bowl when you were there playing Notre Dame, and I just fell in love with it. I had never been to the West Coast. I was a Midwest guy, so I'd never seen palm trees and so much sun in December.
Yeah.
So I went out there, fell in love with it, and I just basically told myself, once I graduate, I want to move out here. And that was 3 years before I even graduated. So, that was kind of 3 years in the making. But I kind of just wanted to go out there and, kind of prove that I could DJ somewhere else, not just in Columbus. I felt like I had done so much here, and I wanted to just test to make sure that I was actually good. My friends were just, being nice and gassing me up. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it was definitely a different experience going out there. Just a different vibe, different scene. They got Vegas style clubs out there a little bit more than we do. But I was out there for a little bit, and it went well and it went bad. Learned a lot of things, gained a lot of insight. But overall, it was a good experience. So I'm happy it happened.
I've personally never been to Arizona, so
yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, no. I want to. I love Vegas and California was amazing, so I
Okay.
can just only imagine, Arizona's probably pretty similar
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
aspect.
Surrounded by it's
Deserts.
kind of like Vegas. In a way.
All the mountains
Yeah.
start to look alike after a
Yeah.
while. So
Yeah. So after being in Arizona, being from the West Coast myself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike the Midwest, but the weather here is, you know what I mean. I definitely would rather be out there. So what brought you back to Columbus? Something specific or?
So it was like I said, it was a lot. Just the work. I had built so much here in Columbus. We're talking maybe like 7 years of work that I put in one city. So like, I went out there and it was kind of like starting all over, and it was just like very strenuous. And I was like, man, like, do I want to like really go through all this again? I'm like, because I had so much business back here, and I was like, maybe I'll go back home. So I stayed out there for a little bit. Things kind of just weren't falling through the way I thought. People tell you things. I had connections that kind of fell through. Didn't happen.
Right.
I kind of put I don't want to say trust, just more my dependency on people instead of the work. I should have just, kind of depended on myself a little bit more, and kind of went off a lot of people's like what they were gonna say, like what they said they could do. And
Right.
I had some good gigs though. I was in Old Town for a little bit, which is like a pretty hot spot. Had a wedding or two, and then I did a couple bars. So it was nice, like I said, to get some experience. I almost worked with the soccer team out there, but they were brand new and they didn't really know how to have a DJ or anything like that. So a lot of things just like were falling through, like, that could have happened, should have happened, would have happened. But so I decided, I was like, I'm going to go back to Columbus. I got a lot of business there. The crew had not started their season yet, and they were like, hey, well, if you come back, we got a job for you still.
That's good.
I was like, I'm on the way. I was like,
Yeah.
save it. So yeah, just coming back to kind of, where the business was at.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, you said that you've been a DJ now for going on 8 years. What made you want to start DJing really in the first place?
So I never thought I would like end up DJing. It was really, I had this software called Virtual DJ, and like I was in high school and I would just like love blending and mashing songs. And then I know I was also like big on making CDs. This is back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so old. This is when you like make blank CDs. But my cousins and I, we'd make a CD like every month of like the best songs we could find on LimeWire. And like,
Yeah.
Man, that's the way throwback.
Man, I know. I feel
Oh
like
my
it was like
gosh.
ages ago.
I totally forgot
Way
about
too
that.
long ago.
But yeah, so like I enjoy that so much. And then as like time went on, I was messing with Virtual DJ, and then I got to college, and it was funny. One of my friends from high school started rapping, and he went to Toledo as well, and I had no idea. And so when I got to Toledo, I got cool with him. He's like an upperclassman, and one of his friends was a DJ. And so like I had already kind of like started messing around with it, like just for fun, never thinking like I was gonna do it. It was just fun. And I would hang out with them at the parties and the clubs. I'm not even supposed to be in there. I'm like 18, 21 and up places. And so like I just like would like see him DJing, like just the way like people reacted to it, and like how he kind of just controlled, the vibe. And I was like, damn, like I want to be part of that. Like I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I started messing around with it, and then I went to Ohio Dominican, small school, maybe about 3,000 kids on campus. And this is probably the craziest part. I would practice in my dorm room, and then like one night we all went to Big Bar, and I was intoxicated for sure. And I like tweeted, I was like, oh, like Big Bar should let me DJ sometime, like just joking around.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the guy that was the DJ is like now has been like my best friend for like the past like 8-9 years, and he's like the guy who taught me how to DJ. So he messages me back. He's like, hey man, we're actually looking for DJs.
Oh my gosh,
And I was
that's
like,
awesome.
oh my god, like yo, that's dope. He's like, yeah, come in sometime. And I was like, look, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Bedroom DJ.
Literally, I didn't want to like get up there and like embarrass myself.
Yeah.
He's like, well, just come in and just shadow me. So next thing I know, like we're going into Big Bar, like me and my friends. I'm like, yo, we're on a guest list tonight, and they're all freaking out. And like we go in, and then like I just stood in the booth, and then next thing I know, just every single weekend of my life, I'm just at Big Bar, like in the booth, just watching, studying, like just taking it all in.
Yeah.
Nice,
And like my friends would get so mad because like we'd go in and like they'd all go like on the dance floor. You know, they want to talk to girls. They want to get drinks. So I'm just up there like staring at this dude's, you know, computer.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, come on, man, come have fun with us. I was like, nah, like I gotta watch.
I want to see this. Like this is what gets me hyped,
Exactly.
man. Like
So
I'm
That's how it
feeling
is
this.
sometimes.
That's awesome.
so I didn't start DJing, and then like he let me get on the microphone. He's like, well, I'm not gonna let you DJ yet. He's like, but let's teach you how to work the microphone.
Yeah.
So I was like nervous, man. I'm like, dang, I gotta get on this mic with like all these kids from Ohio State. There's like Buckeyes up there, future NFL players. I'm like, okay. So next thing I know, just like, all right, big boy, hands up, you know, that kind of stuff. And then as time goes on, next thing you know, I'm on the table, like telling him to stop the music. I'm like, yo, everybody get your like. So then I just got into it, and then he gave me my own night, my own college night. So I was, and like this is the part like I love to talk about because like people don't know this, you know. I'm literally stack of flyers after class. I'm driving from Ohio Dominican down to Ohio State. I'm walking around campus. I'm passing out. I'm you know, telling people who I am. Like, oh, come to my college night. Come to my, I'm DJ Leek. You know, like and like you know, like really like the grassroots things. Like really just trying to like promote myself. And like I would do that weekly. And dude, there would be times where like maybe like 5 people would come. I'm like, damn, like this is hard. I'm like, no one's coming to my event. And like you know, but I just love being behind the booth and being on the deck side. You know, just kept going and just putting in the time, man. Over time, everything just started to work out. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Takes time
That is
sometimes.
so
It's a long story, but like
Yeah,
that's what it. That's
no,
It's a
what
great
it
story,
does.
though. For real. I mean,
fantastic.
it's always interesting to see how people got
Yeah.
their start in any industry, how they got their start, and why they kept pursuing it.
Right.
You know, and with that being said, like, what do you love about DJing so much?
Man, just like, so I played the drums in middle school.
Ah,
Little
yeah.
nerdy kid.
I'm a
That makes sense,
flautist.
though.
I'm a flautist.
Yeah, wow.
So
I wanted to be like a musician. Like I always loved music, you know, just like the way it made me feel, things like that. And I couldn't really play an instrument. I did drums, like I said, and I wasn't feeling it, cause like in band, like not to be like selfish, but it's like everyone's in the band. It's not like just
Right.
you.
oh yeah.
But like DJing, it's like yo, like I get to control the vibe. Like
Absolutely.
I get to
Yeah.
set the tone. And so I think just like being able to, you know, make someone's night or make someone's wedding, make someone's corporate event, like just through music, like to me, like that's so powerful. You know, people are like, thank you so much. I'm like, I literally played songs that someone else sings, but like, no, I'm glad I could. But in a
Absolutely.
sense, like, I'm glad I could do it in a way to where like it made the night and you know eventful and you know enjoyable. So. I think for me, just like knowing that I can make people happy just through like playing songs that they love or that I love, that we all love, you know, it's the biggest thing for me. So
Yeah, and I think with
Fantastic.
you were talking about mental health earlier, and I think that music is a huge
Yeah.
part of mental health. And you know, I can be a person that attests to that firsthand. The reason, you know, you said you never thought you'd be a DJ. I didn't either. I was kind of against DJing, honestly, and I started liking it because the thing is, it took me away from this mental issues I was having from the military. And I was talking to a psychiatrist one day, and they said, "When did you stop feeling like that?" I'm like, I don't know. I told he didn't realize when I stopped because I had found something that took my mind off of it. And it's just, I've always, since I was 15 years old, loved music so much in a different aspect. I was in a band, and then, you know, it was always something. And music, the way it made me feel, and I feel like that's what it was.
Right.
It was the escape and putting your mind somewhere else, and just all the music you listen, whether it's your own music or somebody else's music. The way that music makes you feel and how you can relate to so many different songs or like certain things, like, man, like that makes me feel like, you know, you're going to be having a drink by a bonfire and hear this song come on, and it makes you feel a certain type of way, or you remember somebody who passed away, or you remember a special occasion, or whatever it may be. You know, it's so powerful.
I mean, they've done studies before where you literally, like, they show musical therapy has helped people, you know, from like certain like sicknesses and things like that, and like it just shows like how music impacts the brain. I actually had to do like a research project on it in undergrad, and I was just amazed to see like how much music can really affect you, and like not even just like pop songs or EDM or hip hop, but like just like melodies and like even frequencies. Like I know for me, like before bed, like I listen to just sounds like frequencies because like it just helps me like just calm down and like kind of relax and go to sleep. Like rain,
That's why
like
lullabies work for children, like babies.
exactly.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's, I mean, even like when in school they say, you know, when you study, like to play like Beethoven or things like
Yeah.
that. Classical music to help you retain the information. Like, it just shows you like how powerful like music really is. So,
Definitely.
So I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. So, as we're like going through this and you bring up Beethoven, like, is there someone specific that kind of like influenced you? Anyone that influenced you then, influenced you now, someone that you kind of aspire to be, someone like that?
Music, like a DJ or just like?
Just in general,
Just in
music,
general, yeah.
DJ
Just
or
an
music industry.
influencer. It could be your friend Jeff that works at Kroger. It doesn't
That guy
matter.
right there on the wall, Drake. Drake is like my
Yeah.
favorite artist of all time. So like I've
Oh,
always
that's awesome.
loved his music. I remember like when I was in middle school, the MySpace era. I remember his song "Replacement Girl" like came out, and I was like, "Yo, like this dude's dope." And like he wasn't big yet, and like I was like, "Yo, like I'm a huge fan." And the next thing you know, like "Find Your Love" comes out, and he just blows up. I'm like, "Yo, like this is nuts!" I just saw this dude on MySpace.
Yeah.
But I would say as far as like as far as my inspirations, I grew up in Cleveland, so like guys like DJ EV kind of
Oh, that's
also
awesome.
like were
I've
huge.
actually met him and stuff
boy.
because that's his
My
friend.
boy.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
EV.
So-
EV's the shit.
So like when I was in high school, we used to drive up to Cleveland on Thursdays, and like I would tell my mom I was staying at my friend's house, like, but we would like
Sorry, Mom.
so she's learning a lot as I get older.
Yeah, I bet.
But I'd go to my friend Hunter's house, and all my homies would come over, and like we'd pack the car, and drive up to Cleveland, and we'd go to this place called Bar Room, and this was like downtown Cleveland, and EV was the DJ, and like man, like this, like I had never been to clubs because obviously like I was like 18 years old, and like
Right.
just like seeing like how he controlled the room, how he controlled the mic, and like he would go from like hip hop to like a Latin song, and like just like, and Cleveland has a big it's a different demographic than Columbus.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more like Italian people. You got a couple more like Hispanic culture there. So like I'd go to this bar and like see like how like he's getting everyone like to dance and like to have a good time, and just watching him, that was always pretty inspiring to see that. And
Yeah.
I'd always make sure he saw my face too, like, what's up, man? Like, remember me from last week and the week before? He's like, oh yeah, I think I remember you. So it's funny now that like we're both DJs, things like that. But him, and then obviously my dude Kyle Hayes, the guy who like kind of really taught me everything I knew.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
And then just like looking up the guys like Steph Floss from Cleveland, and then DJ AM. I've watched a lot of his videos
Yeah.
online. And
He was a
then
great guy.
Jazzy Jeff. I mean, like I just try to be a sponge, man. Whether it's I've learned stuff from DJs like just coming up, and I've learned stuff from DJs has been. I just try to be a sponge because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
I'll be 30 in 2 years. Like I'm not gonna know all the new songs. So younger DJs, I try to keep them around. Like hey, what's the hottest stuff on? Because I listen to freaking like rain sounds now, and so I'm kind of falling off. I'm washed, but no, it's all good. But as far as like one inspiration, I wouldn't say just one. I just, like I said, I just try to be inspired by anything and everything that I see. So
It's definitely important. That's one of a couple of things that will keep you, growing, and things that you should do to become successful is to always be a learner.
Yeah.
So,
that's in
to-
anything, business, music,
anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
anything.
absolutely anything. To be successful at anything in life.
You learn something new every day,
Yeah,
and that's
you
the
should.
truth. Every single day you learn
If
something
you
new.
don't, then think hard because you could have learned
Yeah,
something and you didn't realize it.
agreed. Totally agree.
Just, yeah. So, yeah.
I didn't know if you were done asking.
Yeah. No, good.
So, besides DJing, and I know you said a little bit about mental health. Is there anything else that you're working on right now?
I'm in a weird way, yes and no. I love video production, so I've been kind of working on that.
Noticed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I guess so.
Super props.
I just love. I've been working like on Final Cut with Apple. Just I'm a person that likes to keep things in house. I learned kind of as I got, came up through the ranks. I hated waiting on like a flyer or waiting on a video or waiting on whatever. So I was like,
Oh
I'll
my
just learn how
gosh.
to do it myself.
Yeah.
So that kind of just catapulted me into learning so many different things. And like I just love now making videos, whether it's for like just an Instagram story or if it's a DJ video or a comedic skit. Like I just love putting that together. So I've just been kind of working with that. And then other than that, man, just DJing, the mental health stuff, than that. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I can, excuse me, I can totally see that. And the reason I came to the Ohio Media School was that exact reason. I was trying to learn how to do things, whether it was music or acting or whatever it was. I was always trying to do things, and to do certain things I needed things like tools to get there, like whether it was a reel or a promo video or how to make a logo or whatever. And I'm like, man, I don't know how to do this, so I'd have to reach out to people. And I was always waiting or doing photo shoots and waiting for editing or this and that.
Hate it, bro. I hate waiting.
It is, and it's just waiting on people sometimes, and especially when people are doing you a favor. It's like, I'm not trying to, but I really need to get this done because you're trying to get yourself to another position. But that's kind of what I did. I came to the media school because when I came here, I went through I graduated from 3 other courses because I really wanted to learn as much as I could, because going to school as many years as I did, like for business and for everything else, it piqued my interest to an extent, and I never have really been a school person. I've always been more about doing other things. But when I came here, it was different. I was actually attending Franklin University at the time, and I was sitting in my buddy's living room watching a commercial on this media school commercial came. I'm like, what is that? And I gave him a call right then and there, and I said, hey, where's this school at? And I asked him, and I came in and saw it, and I was like, this is like the perfect thing for people like me who are interested in creating things, because instead of like taking something that you may use or you may not use, like think about how many people we know that have degrees that don't really use those degrees.
And I would always my advice to like anyone younger too, like, if you can go to school and just learn a craft, I'm not gonna say I wish I would have done that, because like obviously like my experiences like helped me get to where I'm at. But like, man, if I could have just like focused and like honed in on just like learning everything already, and not, because like once you get older, like you guys know, like you start having families and you got to worry about a bunch of stuff. Like when you're in college, you're 22, like you go to class and you got nothing else to do. I mean, you got homework, but if I could have instead of going to an elective course for astronomy, if I could have been learning how to produce, like where would I be now?
Exactly.
Things like that. If I didn't have to take like psychology, for an hour every 2-3 days, like if I was learning like Ableton or something, like
Yeah, exactly.
So, and like not to say like I can't do it now, but it's just like
it's definitely more. You got more going on. But I agree. And like I said, when I saw that, I was like, what a great opportunity to learn how to do a craft or something. So I could totally see that, like to take yourself and be able to do all the things that you're doing, create. And plus, it's really fun because once you start learning it, you start seeing the other things about it that you didn't know. And you're like, oh, like, when I learned about film, I didn't realize, like,
it helps you be a better actor almost.
It does. And the thing that is amazing to me and what I love about film more than being an actor now is, as I was just an actor, now I produce things and I direct things, because I got to see how it started. You never get to see how it starts. You don't know how it starts unless you know what I mean? So you don't know what you don't know, but you don't know what it takes to get from this piece of paper to the credits at the end of the film. And and there's so much and so many people. And a lot of people don't do it, but like me and her, when we go see movies, for instance, I sit there and I watch all the credits.
At first I was like super annoyed with it, because I'm like, honey, like, I'm full of popcorn and I'm pretty sleepy. I almost fell asleep through this movie. I'm ready to go home and cuddle. We've been awkwardly trying to cuddle in these chairs, and he's just sitting there just watching these credits. And after like years of being with one another and kind of getting into the film industry myself, I was like, wow, like there's a lot of people up here.
There's a lot that goes into to like an hour 30 minutes.
Holy crap.
But like I know, and this is like me getting like kind of deep here, but it just shows you like how much work has to be in for a little bit of just like success. Like it takes 8 years to get to where I've gotten. It takes however much time for you. Like it takes like people just think especially now that things just happen overnight, and it's like
it's not
that's
like
just
that.
not how it goes
Until you start getting into it and you see that it doesn't. But it's like watching those credits and stuff. What makes me feel so much deeper and different about it is the fact that all these people who aren't in the movie are the ones who created the movie, and without them, this wouldn't be here. The people who did the casting, the people who did the Foley, the people who did the audio production, the people who did the the hair and makeup and everything. There's just so many departments that come with it, and you get to see all that. And it's like it's amazing to me to see all these people come together to create something, and to give those people credit. And that's why I like watching the credits, because they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Those people are owed the credit too. They did so much work, even if they just did the smallest job. Without them, that moving piece, something might have been different in the film. So it's so crazy to see from the start to the beginning, and it really makes you have so much more appreciation for the industry and for that, you know.
Imagine someone telling you, like, hey, like, give me 2 years of your life for an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hell no. But it's like, but that's the business. Like, an actor, actress, you know, think of someone like Will Smith when he trains for, like, Ali.
Yeah.
It's not just acting. He had to change his whole body.
Yep.
Like, he had to learn how to box. He had to learn how to Ali talk.
He had to become a different person. Like, literally, he had to be Ali, and that's...
For, like I said, an hour to 2 hours, and that's it. And then, boom, it's done.
Yeah.
But it didn't take that. It didn't.
But it took him years. It took him
years.
years. I mean, and you
It
see...
was a day, 24 hours for 30 minutes.
I mean, it was a
24
lot. I mean, you
hours.
see all these people, all these different people, actors and actresses, who become these people, and they end up having, like Robin Williams, you know? He had a lot of mental health issues, but he was such an amazing actor. But that's why he had so many mental health issues, because he had to become these other people, and he didn't even know who he was anymore.
Yeah.
And like, he got so deep into it. Like, look how he played the genie, or like Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, he got so deep into his character and did it so well that he totally lost sight of who he was. And you know, I read an article about Charlie Hunnam, the dude who played Jax in Sons of Anarchy, and they were talking about how they do the spin-offs and things like that, and he was like, I loved filming that TV show, and so many people loved the show, but I would never ever be that character again. Damn. It was so hard on me to be that character. I forgot who I was. I became this leader of this biker gang for 7 years.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who he was anymore. And he got away from that. And if you notice, he doesn't really do that many films now. He doesn't. He's done a couple, Pacific Rim and a couple other things. But he kind of has strayed away from it a little, because doing that affected him. And I think that's affected his acting in a sense, because everybody sees him as this person now. You know what I mean?
I mean, look at, what's his name? Played the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's a tough role to play. And I mean, obviously it took, you know, R.I.P. It took a toll on him more than anyone probably could have imagined. So
to get that deep on the level of that person, and you know, when I was talking to my acting coach and stuff, and one thing that I never knew, like, I never ever thought about it in this way until she said it to me, is when you become when you're acting for a role, you're not just, if you're playing a drunk, for instance, you're not just stumbling around and acting drunk. That's not playing a drunk. You have to play an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You have to, and how do alcoholics think? You know, you be
unless
sitting
you've
there.
ever been one, it's hard to know.
It is, exactly. You know, she's talking about, like, well, if you were looking, you would see people who are alcoholics staring at a doorway, because they would be lining up the doorway before they would get up and beeline out the door to make sure they didn't run into something, and things like that you never thought of. Well, now you have to be that person.
Yeah, you gotta be that person.
To be a person like the Joker, for instance, it's funny you said that, because that's something that she specifically had mentioned, and it made me totally think another way. The Joker's not a bad guy to him.
Right, yeah.
He's not a bad guy to him. To him, he is a liberator.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to liberate people and bring people together. So for other people to look at him, he's a villain. He's a criminal. But to him, he's not. So to get into a mindset of a person who's a villain must be very difficult to do, because you are not bad in your own mind.
Right.
I mean, I can't even. That's some deep stuff. So that's probably why.
I mean, even as a DJ though, like, you almost have to take on a persona. Like, I know for me, I always thought I had to be like the party boy. Like, I always thought I had to be like the most lit, the most energetic, and like that takes a toll on you. And then like that's all people like almost start seeing you as, and that's kind of why like mental health also got big to me, is because it just like people had this perception like that all I did was like party.
Yeah.
And like, but like that's all they would see me as, like Wednesday night 4th Street, Friday night Big Bar, Saturday night Brothers, you know, whatever. And it's like, man, do I really want people to think my whole life like all I did was like
Party?
And I was like, no, I don't. So I kind of had to like switch that up too, you know, for me, because I had noticed that, like, you know, like that become your persona. Like, I always tell people, like, don't get the persona mixed up with the person.
Yes.
Like, they're two different people, you know. So, but yeah.
Like
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that. You know, I actually wanted to ask something about that anyway. So, and me being a DJ, and I see the exact same thing, and to ask somebody else it piques my curiosity. It is something that people think because you're a DJ and you're in a club all the time that people think that you just party and do drugs and drink all the time, even if you don't at all.
Right.
And that's the thing.
I know some DJs that don't drink
at all. Like you go out and like for me, for instance, I wanted to party all the time. I loved the partying, the drinking, and the raging out with your friends when I wasn't DJing or whatever, But as I got older and I have a family now, I still love to play music. But I want to play music and then go home and hang out with my kids and my wife. That's what I want to do. The whole partying thing isn't what I like to do anymore. I like to play the music for the people.
Right.
So when you go out, is it the same way for you? Like, do you want to go play music because you love it, and then when you're done, you want to do whatever you want to do? It's not all about the party thing as you've progressed, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some nights I'm like, man, like let's keep it going, and there's some nights I'm like, yo, like I'm going to bed. Like, what I mean? Like, it just depends. Like, sometimes like it might be a wedding. I've been at a wedding for like 8 to 10 hours. I'm like, yo, I'm going home. My back hurts. I've been in my feet all day in these shoes, that have no sole in them. And then, but I mean, for me, at first, like, it was kind of the same thing. Like, I would DJ, but like, I'd be out like all week. So it's like on top of like getting super, drunk on that Friday or Saturday, I was already like out Wednesday. And so like my body's just like trying to keep up. And so now it's like Monday through like Friday, like I'm in the gym, I'm reading, I'm chilling, I'm trying to relax, and like Friday, Saturday I might turn up a little bit, but it's not so much the same of like me like when I was in college, so I definitely like mellowed out. But yeah, some nights after I DJ, like I'll go home and I'll just put some R&B on and I'll chill, or I might have a little bit. I might pour a glass of tequila, go to bed. But some nights I might, we might kick with the homies, and we might go do something else. But I guess it just depends for me. But yeah, it's not just go party like all the time.
Exactly. And people are like, well, you're not going to be able to do that as a DJ. You're not going to be able to go out and not party. I'm like, yeah, I am, because I've been around people who do it. I've been in Las Vegas in DJ booths with people who go home to their kids in the night. We'll go back and like go get some dinner or like go do something else. It's like it totally can be done. But before I did it, I totally had that misconception as well. Yeah. That if you're in a club, no matter what you're doing. Well, also I guess when we were younger, that's what we were doing.
I mean, when you're young, like you don't have any responsibilities.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
My idea of like partying now, like obviously, like if it's not like a Vegas, like Miami, like I just love like to host. Like I just love to have people over, like music in the background, and like everyone's just kind of chilling and talking, and like compared to like when we were younger, where it's just like the music's so loud you can't even talk to someone,
screaming, losing your voice.
Kind of like, and I mean, I'm not saying like if you're that age, like you shouldn't be having fun doing whatever. It's just like as you get older, you just kind of like, hey, can you turn that down? You're like, you turn that down a little bit, but
things change.
Yeah, things
change with age, and it definitely. I don't know. You kind of see the whole different.
See things in a different way as you get older, and things happen. Yeah. People change, and things happen. I mean, you get older, but kind of sticking on the change thing as you were talking, it kind of like piqued my thoughts. Do you think that during quarantine that you kind of were able to just kind of chill, and that kind of was that little like switch, or what had it kind of started?
Not at first. I'm not gonna lie. Like when it first started, I was struggling. Like I was like, because I was so used to being around people all the time. Yeah. And like it's funny because I used to complain. I'm like, man, like dang, like I wish I could get a break. People just talk to me like, oh, I'd literally be like DJing like middle of a set, and someone's like, what's good, bro? What you been up to? It's like, yo, like I'm trying to DJ right now. So like I was at a point where I was like, man, like I wish I could just like catch a break. And then like I got that break, and I was like, dang, I kind of miss being around people. Yeah. But at first, it was definitely tough. I've always been a social butterfly. I've always been like, but I love people though. Like I love being around people, talking to people.
That's good, definitely. With what, with what you're doing, like you should like people.
So
that'd be kind of hard not to like people.
So at first it was tough because like like it wasn't just like DJing was down, like closed down, like everything was closed down. I mean, things are still closed down, obviously, but like this time, a month from now, like it was like stay in the house, like don't leave, and it's like dang, like. I mean, obviously, I think everyone struggled, but especially for me, I had lost my outlet. Like I could have a bad week and like, well, I get to DJ Saturday, so like I'm looking forward to that. I get to play music.
Yeah.
But now it's just like I'm just, and some people had remote jobs. They're still working from home. Things I didn't have anything. So I had to kind of like figure out like I'm like okay, like first couple months I struggled. Like that's when you saw like the goofy videos and like I started getting on TikTok a little bit because I was just like, kind of bored, and then like the boredom kind of turned into like, okay, well, like if you're gonna be bored, like let's do this right. So then like I started learning how to like, do better, like make better videos and like things like that. And then like, I kind of just told myself, I'm like, look, man, like you're gonna have to adjust. Everyone's adjusting. You're gonna have to figure it out. So I just kind of stopped feeling sorry for myself because I think everybody's kind of like, this sucks. Like it's not fair. And I was like, it's not, but like we got to deal with it. So I kind of just got back to the basics, just listening to podcasts again, just making DJ mixes at home. And I know a lot of DJs do like the live stream stuff, but for me, it's tough because I am just, I want people there.
Yeah,
like, I
need
DJ,
the energy around you. Yeah, I totally understand
I
that.
go off the energy, so like I tried to do that for a second, but I just wasn't feeling it. So that's why I kind of shifted my focus to
away from it.
The mental health and like the videos, because it was an outlet that I could do from home and like people could enjoy it. Once like I posted it, it'd be nice to be like I put a video out and then like people are commenting and they're laughing, and like not to say I couldn't do that with like a DJ video, but like I stress myself out so much when I make those that like I was like I'm just not gonna do too many of them.
Right.
But like when I do like a funny video, it's like it's fun, you know. So I kind of just had to shift, my outlets and just how I was gonna stay sane for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I recently have started doing positivity with Carly, and it was just a random day, and I was kind of struggling personally that day, and Zane's always on social media making his videos, and like he loves that and stuff, and I just like I played around in the car and like had done it, but I'm like, delete it. But like I went on and I posted it, and I hashtagged it like, haha, positivity with Carly, and I literally got a lot of feedback, and I was just like, wow, like people don't think I'm
Maybe
weird.
I should do this.
Right. We're all weird in our own ways.
Wait, you guys are feeling this? Like, you guys feel this?
Right.
So I'm like,
I think the thing that people have to understand is like everyone has something to give. Everybody has a story. Everybody has, stuff that they've been through, and I think we fail to realize as people like how much we really do have in common. Being a mom, being parents, being whatever. What race are you?
Italian,
like being Italian, being black, we all have, things in common. So like, people are always afraid to share like, what they are going through, but then you put it out there, you're like, whoa, like
you get feedback from other people who are similar.
Okay. It's not just me then,
Right.
So I always love when I see people just like start honing in on like, who they are, and like they just start putting themselves out there, because you just kind of get to see like the realness of a person, because obviously social media, like we get to see, I was telling, me and my friend were talking about this the other day, like you get to see everyone's highlight tape.
Right,
you get to see their best plays, their best moments. So it's like, it's always cool, like when people start doing like, the positivity things, or they start doing a podcast, because like you get to see like, oh well, that person has some depth to them. Like,
who they really are.
Yeah, like who are they, like how they think, So that's been the biggest thing for me with mental health, is like I know there's more to me than just playing two sides, on a computer, and things like that. So, and I always wanted to. I didn't want to just be remembered like as just DJ Leek.
Right.
Like I always wanted to make sure like that people could remember me, not just for that, but like caring about other people, and like promoting positivity, things like that. So like that's been like a big thing for me too, of why I made that shift as well. So.
I think as we get older, that's something that we notice more about who you are, like how you develop. And it's like someone told me once, like when we're kids, we're who we really are. But as you get older, you change who you are because people judge you, and you don't want to be judged in a negative way. So instead of being your goofy, fun-loving self, you start being someone else, and that's kind of how you you tender yourself into who you are today. The way that you dress, the way you act, kind of the way you do things is based on whatever issues you might have had when you were a kid. People made fun of you or this or that or whatever, and so you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that because people are going to judge me. But then as you get older, it's funny because you have these years where you have those issues. And then you get past those to a point like where we are now, and you can pretty much do whatever you want, and people are going to look at it differently because you build attention. I mean, obviously for us it's a little different because we are trying. We do things to try to influence people, to try to boost people up. Being an influencer and things is differently, but still, any person's the same. Like as you get older, you change your life and you do things a little bit differently. I noticed that for me, like trying to make other people realize how important they are and what every different person in the world has to offer, no matter where you come from, how much money you have, what your race is, how old you are, you have something to offer that everybody would be so grateful to be able to see. So everyone's so amazing. Yeah. And they don't realize how amazing they are. And people are so hard on themselves,
Yeah, I mean, no one, we don't learn those things, but kind of going back to what you said, one thing I've learned about social media is everybody has an audience. Yeah. Everybody can have everyone can have a following, and that's the cool thing about it. If it's used in the right way, everybody can have their own, if it's basket weaving or if you're the nerdiest dude and you love video games, there's maybe 500 to 10,000 people out there that love basket weaving. Yeah. They might love video games. They might love baking. They might be a mom who likes to watch football, whatever it is. There's other people that you can always connect with. And I think that's what people have to understand is you don't have to have just you don't have to have 50,000 followers or anything like that. If you find something that you really enjoy and you want to share it, then just do it. And I think I heard one time too, someone was we get so caught up in likes and things like that. But if you get even just 200, 300 people to think about that. You could almost feel a high school basketball arena with that, but we're so number based that it's oh, I only got 200 likes. Dude, you can put 200 people in a cafeteria and it's gonna be whoa, there's a lot of people here.
Exactly.
Because it's almost digitalized. It doesn't feel as big. Yeah. Because you can't see it. You can't really see 200.
You can't see a number. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's true. Yeah, and I see that. A lot of things people do look at those numbers and likes and followers and stuff. But the thing is, when you stop paying attention to that, and you just that's something I was worried about and caught up in for a while. But then after a while, you just kind of let that go because you start feeling like you have a purpose by doing the things you're doing, by inspiring people. When people start reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, you changed my day," that was what really hit me home. That I did something to some random person I don't know. I made them feel this type of way. I inspired them to do something. That inspired them to continue doing something or to go after something because I'm going after it. And they're like, man, if this person's going after it, I'm going to go after it. And that's what it's about. Yeah. We're all human beings. We're all in this world together. We're all going to die. There's nothing we could do about it. So, true. But we all have the same path, that journey we have to go down. And it's what you make of it. You either, you grab it and you go for something, or you just coast. And a lot of people coast and they're comfortable and they don't want to take that leap. And people like us, doing, following our dreams and inspiring people and posting these videos and doing things like that, it makes people take that leap because they realize, man, I can do that. It's possible, It's that's one of the main reasons we wanted to bring guests on here, to show what other people have to offer and everybody else to tell their stories, because that's really what it's about in this world is everyone's got a story. So why not let everyone tell their story? Where did you come from? How did you get here? Why are you doing this? Because other people get to see so many different people in so many different aspects, variables, career fields, and what they're doing and what they're, what they went through and the same thing that they went through, So with that being said, COVID-19 was a very unique situation.
Still unique.
it's still unique for sure. But like you said, a year ago, pretty much, we got shut down and we got everything taken away from it. That was nothing that anyone especially in our generation, has ever got to see before. You know, we've never been on the front end of a pandemic, a brand new disease, or something like that, where you get to see where it starts at. You know, the flu started. When did it start? I don't know. We weren't around for that, but we are here after, and we see what happens. You take flu shots, and you get sick, and you get better. Some people die. That's just how it is. But to be on the front end, on the front line when it started, to see where it goes and how it progresses. Well, we had to sit at home. We had to lose things that we worked really hard for. We had to lose income, and we had to take time away from our families, and the holidays were different and everything. You know what I mean? So, you know, I know how it affected me, and like the other people that we've had on here, different people, whether they were an actor or they were a producer or they were, you know, whatever they were, how it affected them. So I want to ask you, as a DJ and as a person, so as a, you know, how did it affect you positively, negatively, personally, and professionally? How did it affect you in those ways?
Oh man, great question. I'll start with negatively. It definitely showed me that I was dependent almost too much on one thing, and I definitely learned that I'm not just one thing. I can be more than one thing. I can do more than one thing. It also showed me financially that I need to mature, because when I was DJing, I was making like great money, and I didn't have to worry about it because, you know, I could blow like $200, $300 in a night, and like, oh, whatever, I'll make it up next week, or I'll make it up on a gig. But then, like, when those gigs get taken away, you can't just be, you know, just blowing money like that. Yeah. And so it really taught me, you know, I'm like, okay, like I need to like start saving, and like I need to like be more mature with my money and like become more financially literate. So obviously, like, negatively, like, finances got cut, but positively, like, it showed me, like, hey, like, you kind of been screwing around, and, like, you need to kind of get it together.
Nice way to put that.
Yeah, because when it's coming in, you're like, yo, it's coming in, like, whatever. Like, we can go, like, to dinner, we can take trips, but, like, when it stops, you're like, whoa, hey, like, okay, I need to, like, save some money up. And then I would say, obviously, like I said, like, not being able to, you know, be around people, that kind of hurt me a lot, just, not being able to interact, just kind of like got in a depressed state again, just like, man, like this sucks, which I'm sure like, you know, everybody did. Yeah. And then, yeah, just like I had so much that was about to happen. You know, I had just interviewed with the Clippers for a gig, and then Ohio State basketball, all that stuff. So that was, you know, kind of a letdown that some of that stuff got taken away, you know, some of those big opportunities, but It is what it is. But positively, it just showed me that, you know, I need to just adapt and become, you know, like I said, just smarter. And it also showed me I kind of got a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? I got comfortable. I got real comfortable, you know, and it just showed me like, hey, like the hard work needs to keep going on. Right. You know, I was put in a place where I wasn't DJing. It's like, okay, like, what are you going to do? Like, you got bills to pay. So, like, I had to go get another side job. Like, I had to go figure out, like, a side job to do, and, you know, and then, like, luckily I only had to stay there for a month, and, like, things opened back up. But it just kind of brought, like, that, the drive back out of me. Like, it just showed me, like, I had to, like, learn how to be, like, a hustler again. Like, you know, same, like I said, when I first started, I was passing out flyers on campus. Like, it kind of made me go back to my roots and, like, okay, like, you kind of have to restart, and, like, you know, you have to really figure this out. So, like, what are you going to do? One of my favorite quotes, and, like, it's so relatable to the pandemic, it's bad companies are destroyed by crisis, good companies survive them, and great companies are improved by them. And I always tell, when I say that, just to replace the word companies with people. And I always say, like, you know, if you're great, crisis is going to improve you. You're going to be like, okay, like, I got to figure this out. Because you're either going to let it destroy you or, like, let it drive you. And I was like, okay, like, I don't want to be destroyed by this. When the pandemic was, like, I mean, obviously it's still going on, but, like, I was like, I don't want to come out of this and have to play catch up. Right. I want to come out of this and be like, all right, I'm ahead of the game. And now I'm about to, like, catapult to even greater stuff because, like, I stayed up to it. So, like, that's kind of been, like, my logic is just, like, you know, instead of just being like, oh, this sucks, like, sitting there, nothing to do, like, okay, like, let's learn some new skills, like, let's you know, invest, like, let's, you know, just expand. You know, that's been, like, the biggest thing, you know, through all this. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's kind of how I've been looking at it too. You know, a lot of people have taken all the negative and reflected it more negatively. And one thing I said was, I mean, there's two ways this is gonna we're gonna come out of this. We're gonna sit here and perfect our craft. Whatever your craft is, you're going to work on it and perfect it and help yourself grow, so that when we walk out of this, you're ahead of the game. You still glide. Or you're going to sit around and do nothing and wait for things to happen, and then you're going to be behind, and you're going to have to play catch up the whole time, and you're going to have to start over. There's no point in starting over. Just find new things. There's tons of people I know that have done so many different things to their life and whatever, and just completely gone away from whatever they did before. Like the DJ Schiff, for instance. Everything that he does is all about cooking now. He's all this cooking stuff, and it's just like, Justin's really got to do something different, spend time with his family, and do that, and I think that's really cool. For a lot of people, And that was one of my, I think there was a blessing in disguise about it. Is we were so busy all the time that you don't think of those little things, and then when you get that time, you got to spend all that time with your family, and I really got to just play with my kids and like, hang out, and you didn't have to worry about anything else. Yeah,
I just hope people it's not over, and it's just kind of you fall back. So that's the crazy thing is that all this has taught me too is and I was talking to a friend about this, my mind was almost how when you have a computer and you have so much storage, and you're like, where's all this storage coming from? I don't even feel like my computer's that full. Right. You start going in and you find old pictures, old videos. You're like, I don't even use this. My mind was kind of the same way. I was going back to negative thoughts and negative patterns and negative habits. I'm like, man, these aren't even patterns, thoughts, and habits that I want to even use in my life anymore. But because my mind was so programmed, from everything before, subconsciously, that's how I was operating. And so lately, I've just been trying to reprogram, and that's one thing the pandemic's allowed me to do is almost reboot and clean out my storage of everything that's been in there, and just kind of recalibrate everything. So that's been the best thing, and I don't think I'll go back because I've come so far, and now my mind's just in a different way.
It's a great way to put that. That's a great
it's been good.
You definitely kind of put that out there for other people to kind of grasp. I know myself definitely I've learned a lot just kind of chatting with you. I love talking to people that can have figured out a way to kind of adapt and kind of overcome things. Right. As I'm personally, as other people I know are overcoming things within themselves. So, with that being said, do you think, would that be your favorite thing about 2020? I mean, if you could pick a favorite thing, give me a favorite thing, and I also want to hear your least favorite thing of 2020 before we talk about the wonderful 2021 that this year will be.
I think, my favorite thing about 2020 was just the realization that that there's just more to life. And I hope that a lot of other people saw that, that a lot of things that we kind of whine about and moan about are not so bad. I just really learned how to just be grateful during 2020, because there's so much that we could have complained about, and it's okay, I lost my job. 900,000 people just filed for unemployment for the first time a week ago. Yeah. It's not just about you. Yeah. So I had to learn how to be grateful again for what I did have. I just moved into an apartment downtown, and my rent is probably 3 times as more as my last apartment. And I'm damn, I'm still here. I'm still I haven't been evicted. I'm not homeless, and I don't know how. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it's happened, but I've been able to pay my bills, and it's that's something you got to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
So I think the biggest thing 2020 is just the realization of the little things again, just understand how important life is, and then obviously the worst thing is just everything going on, obviously people losing loved ones, just people getting sick. I didn't get to see my dad. My dad was pretty bummed. He got sick right at Christmas. And we were pretty excited to everybody kind of see each other.
For the holiday, you were gonna go and
because my dad's it's not big, so we weren't gonna have a big family. It was really gonna be they're keep it small. We were gonna have the small gathering, and then he got sick, so I didn't get to see him. But
he's okay now.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's good. But yeah, I think just the worst thing was just obviously losing finances, and then people losing loved ones, things like that. Yeah. But
Yeah, we felt that. We felt the.
We lost a lot of loved ones.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
it's definitely, you know, you could see. Man, it was a year, let's to say the least. But, yeah, 2021. So we got about.
Couple more minutes.
We got like 6 minutes left. So, but yeah, before I ask you this last question, I'm glad that we got to do this because, you know, I've known you for a while and, you know, I got to see the club and whatever, but I've never got to talk to you on a personal level. So it's always great to have people, to be able to sit down with people and talk to them and get to know them a little bit better.
We don't do this enough as humans. Just like
We don't.
We lost the art of talking.
Yeah. That's why I got back into radio and wanted to do a podcast or a radio show because I haven't done it in a couple of years. And the one thing that I really enjoyed about it was connecting with people. Yeah. And it's a really good way because, you know, especially people are interested in what people are doing. And the thing is we could bring people in and everybody can get to know everybody a little bit better. And I think that's really awesome that we get to know, you know, what people have been through and how they feel about things because you only know what's in your own mind, you know, most of the time. So
true.
But like I said, we only got a couple minutes left. But I do want to ask you, so for 2021, what are your goals and what's next for you? What do you got coming up? What's next and what's in the works?
So for me, man, like it's like full send. Like I feel like sharper. I feel like just more motivated. Like I just like feel like I'm ready to go after a lot of things. So for me, I don't really have goals. To me now are like projects. Like so I don't have like, you know, get in shape, you know, things like those are more like habits.
Right.
You know, like I kind of look at it like, you know, if I make going to the gym a habit, I'll be in shape. If I make going grocery shopping a habit, I'll eat well. I won't eat out. So I kind of think of like just instead of like having a goal, instead of having a goal like, oh, like my goal is to grocery shop 2-3 times a week. Like no, it's like just make that the habit. Like make that a lifestyle change. So goals to me are more like projects, you know, like putting out 2 videos, you know, in a month or like making sure I host like a Zoom meeting for Just Breathe. Those are kind of like my goals, like my little projects. So my big projects I would say would be to, you know, get my Just Breathe mental health thing going, you know, on a large scale, make it a nonprofit this year. That's a huge thing. I want to build like a team for it because I can't do it by myself. You know, I've learned that like you can't do everything alone. DJ wise, just keep putting out, you know, videos, learn how to produce. I want to learn how to produce this year and put on my own edits. And then I guess just like the personal side, just, I don't know, man, I already feel like so good. Like I feel like this is like the lightest and like most peaceful I've felt in a long time. And I think it's just because, you know, like I said, 2020 just taught me so much. And I don't know, when you learn like to just be grateful for the little things, everything else just seems so much bigger, you know. So
I agree.
Other than that, yeah, just, you know, more, you'll see a lot of comedian Leek, you'll see a lot of music Leek, you'll see a lot of mental health Leek. So I'm already a Gemini, so that's good. You never know what you're gonna get with us Gemini.
Right.
So
Oh, man.
but that's about it. So yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting. I mean, I'm definitely grateful that, you know, we were able to catch up and
Yeah, thank you guys.
Chat, and people got to hear you and you hear your story, and, you know, thank you for coming on and sharing with us and our viewers. I know we have a couple of the same viewers, you know, being from the same city, but, you know, but, you know, there's different views for different, I was trying to find a word that rhymed, but I don't have one. Yeah, so
That's
just
all good.
thank you.
No,
Yeah,
thank you guys for having me. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's always nice to, you know, kind of let people know like what's going on and, you know, talk to you guys and hear a little more about you and
Absolutely.
You know, wish you guys a health and safe year, and the little ones have a good year as well. So
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and
well.
I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Yes, sir.
Before we clear here in a second, I want to ask you your social media. You want to put that out there for everybody?
Yeah, so you can follow me at on Instagram at _Leek Official, LEEK Official, and then on Twitter at the DJ Leek _. If you go to just the DJ Leek, it's a picture of me and my ex pinned forever. So I think it's like my curse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got locked out of my Twitter, and like it was funny. Like one day, like I mean we're cool. She's like, you know, like our pictures, like the last picture on your Twitter. I'm like, damn.
That's funny.
So don't go to that one. Go to my new one. So,
Yeah, make sure you guys check him out on social media. That's about all the time we have for today, guys. So just remember, you're listening to the Zane and Carly Project. You're listening to us right now on WDG Underground Columbus, home of the unsigned artist. You guys can check us out each day on WDG Columbus Radio on their Facebook page. We're doing live streams on there. Also on the Zane and Carly Project on Instagram. You could find us on my link tree for all the platforms under DJ Zane Richard Simpson on Instagram. You guys can check us out under my website, under the Zane and Carly Project under videos, or you can check us out on YouTube under Zane Richard Simpson, Zane and Carly Project. Remember, we're on Spotify, Anchor app, and everything else. If you guys are interested in starting your own podcast or radio show, make sure you guys check out the Anchor app or anchor.fm. Great place to start doing what we do on there, and you can make money with no minimum listenership. Make sure you guys check everything out again. Check out Leek. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you tomorrow with Danielle Vasanova on here, and we will have some interesting questions and stories from her. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. We will see you soon.
Love you.
Peace.
Same way, tell me what you